Face Publishing, man. It's a beautiful day out here today, man. Very beautiful day. Got the little homie. He's in his own world right now. It's just me and him chilling, getting some air on the balcony. You know, I can see, decent little vision of the city, man. From up here in the BX. It's hot out here, man. Just enjoying a cup of coffee right now. It's been in the streets, man. A lot's been going on. I haven't did a video in a minute. Not that anybody cares, but I'm a nobody out here. But anyway, man, I hope you guys can hear me. So, we gotta get to this Kobe disrespect, man. When is it gonna stop, man? I don't think it is, man. You had the Bleach Report rank him number 11. That's not the first time he's been ranked like really low. People act like this is the first time these things have ranked him low. Like he called ESPN a bunch of idiots before. Remember I told you guys, man. I said media don't like Kobe. They're never gonna give him his props the way he deserves. They're gonna hold certain things against him, like MVPs and playing with Shaq. All these things that they're holding against him to stop from elevating him to a higher level on his list, because they have to get him out the way to justify putting other people ahead of him. With this list was Bleach Report list was put there to create the anger. I keep telling y'all, they use content creators, as a way to stay relevant, because they know that they're gonna comment on dumb shit. They said that's the reason we have platforms, and they saw that people is not checking for what they got to say like they used to anymore, because people have different outlets and things like that where they can get information from and get the information that they want to hear, and not just that they want to hear, but a more truthful information for most people. Because there are still some people, even though they have their platform, preach a lot of biased stuff, but they do this to gaslight us, man. Like, come on, how you don't see that, man? I saw that when I saw this. This is the first time they've disrespected Kobe on his list. Remember, he called ESPN a bunch of idiots. And as I told y'all when I broke down months ago, maybe a year ago, whatever, I broke down, these faces of the leagues and all this stuff, and why Kobe never really got his fair share. Part of it was, like I said, you gotta look how his career started. He wasn't a very high lottery pick. He was traded to the Lakers. I think it was with the 12th pick. So he wasn't, like a top 5 pick or none of that. So they didn't really expect much out of him. Then you gotta look at how he played the game, what he was trying to emulate. The world was in love with Jordan. And you got Kobe out here doing, a young kid trying to mock Jordan, and there was all these wannabe Jordans, and, he was just looked at as another wannabe Jordan until they built the team around Shaq, and then that stigma stuck with him. It was with Shaq. Oh, he's trying to beat Jordan, he's trying to take over the team, all this stuff. You had to be alive, and you had to be watching basketball to remember this stuff. He got blamed for Shaq leaving. He got blamed for the turmoil in the locker room with him and Shaq. It was all about him and Shaq not really getting along, and him ball hogging, trying to take the shots, and things like that. They ended up winning 3 championships in a row. And I also heard Shaq say he would have won with Brady, and who else he said? Somebody else. These guys, like, but you only have one championship without Kobe. And I love Shaq, man. Shaq is a really nice guy. I met him before. Cool guy, man. I met him in a cafe. Really nice guy, man. But he only had one championship without Kobe. He got swept out of the playoffs, swept out of the finals. Got your other championship with Dwayne Wade, and he was carrying that team. So I'm not too sure about that. But we did see Kobe win 2 without you and lead his team. And I think once he did that, that elevated him, or should have elevated him to a different level. Because he was already, gotta make sure he don't crack his head on this edge, man, these tables, man. You know, it should have elevated him to a different level of greatness. Because not only did you win 3 with a great dominant player, they traded that man away and left you with crumbs of a team. No disrespect to those players, but they didn't leave him with much to work with out there. And compared to other teams, and even though he struggled, remember, Mike struggled. So Kobe struggled, and he ended up getting one piece, an all-star, and almost turned that into a dynasty. And won 2 in a row. So, you know, that right there should have elevated. He went to the finals 3 years in a row, which means he almost had a dynasty going with a lesser team. And then don't get me wrong, that team, he might have had more big men, but that was a lesser team compared to that team he had with Shaq. People forget that Shaq team had a bomb, man. Derek Fisher, Brian Shaw, Rick Fox, Robert Horry, Horace Grant, Glenn Rice, Zaire Ryan on the back of the bench. You know, like they had Gary Payton and Karl Malone, but that was the last run they had, and they didn't win. But you know, they had a mob, man. They had some really great players, man. That team you got with Pau Gasol, Sasha Vujacic, Lamar Odom. No disrespect to him, but you know he was good, but you know he wasn't. You know, look at the drop off compared to what he had with Shaq. Shaq right there just elevated that team on a different level. But with that being said, shoot, why didn't Shaq win more without Kobe? Because he had opportunities before Kobe got there and after he got there. And he was definitely in his prime before Kobe got there. He made it to the finals. He was making it to the playoffs. What was going on? And you had Penny. You know what I'm saying? You had Wade. You only got 1 championship. And Wade was the one that really catapulted that championship. Shaq wasn't really a factor. But, you know, like I said, disrespect to Kobe is crazy, man. So, you know, they want to look at his accolades. And, he only has 1 MVP. That's what my coworker be saying. He has 1 MVP. And, you know, he just shoots the ball and his efficiency. But what about his results? You see, all of that stuff is nitpicking. But for me, right, when I'm looking at greatness, right, I'm looking at your skill level. I'm looking at your heart, your will, determination, which is part of your heart, your level of competition, guys you're going against, the area you played in, which is your level of competition, stuff like that. Your clutch gene, how good are you when the chips are down, and your leadership, you know, and, you know, can I plug and play you in any era? So when we start saying this guy's better than this guy, all right, what is it that he does better? And if I plug them in this era, like when we say these team versus this team, like the 72 Bulls team against Durant and Golden State, you know, Like when you make up fantasy things like that, I gotta say, how do we fare? Like, how would they fare? I look at the matchup of that particular team, right? I look at, all right, who are they gonna throw on who? They'll probably throw Jordan on Curry, or they might throw Ron Harper on Curry. Harper's gonna go on one of them. Jordan's gonna go on one of them. Bye-bye. And that's gonna shut that down right there. 2 elite defenders. Then you got Pippen. Obviously, they're gonna throw him on Durant because he has the longer arms and he's a little bit taller. So where do they get their scoring from? Because it's gonna, not saying that Curry's not gonna get any points, but he's not gonna be scoring on 30, 40 a night like that on old Mike. On the flip side, who gonna guard Jordan? You know what I'm saying? Like, and they had Kukoc, Pippen, and all those little 3-point shooters they had. So, like, I don't know, that's a tough matchup, but, you know, like Draymond's gonna guard, they're gonna throw Rodman on Draymond. That's the end of Draymond right there. How do they beat the Bulls? Right? How do they beat the Showtime Lakers? We throw Cooper and Byron Scott on Clay and Curry. Not saying they're gonna stop them, but they will neutralize a lot of that shit. First of all, they're taller and athletic, right? So now you gotta guard Magic, or you gotta guard Kareem. Who's gonna get to stop Kareem? Who's gonna stop Magic? James Worthy. Like, make it make sense, man. Like, there's no answer for them. Not on that team, man. Like, Kevin Durant's not quick enough to guard James Worthy. And I'm not saying that James Worthy's better than Durant. What I'm saying is trying to guard James Worthy in that type of offense with Magic out there, and he's slashing and running around. You're not gonna be able to guard him, man. Then you gotta guard Magic, who can go on the post, who can play up top of the key, like the passes. Like, come on, stop it. The 86 Celtics, man. Like when you start to compare these guys, I'm saying, like, when you throw these guys in these eras, right? How do they win? How many championships? Like, when I look at Duncan, right? As great as Tim Duncan is, right? People be trying to shit on David Robinson. And when I look at David Robinson, right? He carried that Spurs team by himself on his back. Man. Who was his superstar talent he had, or all-star talent he had in the 90s? Right? Now let's take Tim Duncan and put him in that same San Antonio team, same situation that Duncan, that Robinson was in that same West, because the West got tough in the 90s. West wasn't really tough in the 80s. That's why Magic doesn't have that great 50 wins against 50 big, a lot of wins against 50 win teams. I'm sorry. He doesn't have a lot of wins against 50-win teams because he wasn't playing 50-win teams like that. You know, so they were running through the West. West wasn't tough like the East was back then. It got better than the East in the 90s, when teams like Utah, San Antonio, and Portland started emerging. Then Phoenix, the Seattle, like out of Houston. How does Duncan get out of that with the teams that David Robinson had? So you got to put some respect on David Robinson. They wouldn't even have got Duncan if he doesn't get hurt. He missed the whole year, I think. So, oh my God, stop it, man. This little guy, stop it, Papa. I gotta get this cleaned up. Man, this little man, my little man making a mess, man. Damn. Sorry, guys. But how do they win? How does Tim Duncan? What championship does he win? Huh? You gotta tell me, when does he win the title? Does he beat the 94, 95 Rockets with the team that Robinson had, right? Because see, this is what we don't. This is where we start losing ourselves, right? Duncan always had, talent around him. First he had Robinson. They had a mob, and they had Robinson, the Twin Towers, right? Come on, Papa, give me this, man. No. I said no. Hey. So you had a mob. You know what I'm saying? Then you had David Robinson, you had the Twin Towers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had a mob. Then you had Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, so you never really went without having down years where you had to really carry the team on your own with no real help, like Robinson did. You know what I'm saying? And how many championships you think he wins in the 80s? You know what I'm saying? And I go with that with Kobe, like, without Shaq. Like, him and Shaq, I think they may get one in the 90s after Jordan retired. That's Shaq and Kobe combination, right? If they would have started, really plugged them in like maybe 94, 95, they might have got one. Maybe, 99, they may have got one. In the 80s, I don't know if they get past the Celtics. That 86, like those Celtic teams in the 80s was crazy, man. Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, look at the front court alone. Larry Bird was 6'9". Look at the front court, Danny Ainge and Dennis Johnson. They had coming out off the bench, Maxwell off the bench. Like, that was a tough team, man. That was a tough team, man. Then you had the 76ers. Like you start looking at some of these teams and these players, how do they beat these teams, man? With Moses Malone, Dr. J, Darryl Dawkins, Maurice Cheeks and all. Like, how do you beat these teams, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, these teams today, I don't know if those are dominant teams, man, that I mentioned. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, can I plug and play you in these eras and you can win? I'm not saying I'm going to be able to put up numbers, but are you going to be able to win some championships, man? You know what I'm saying? Like that second Kobe team, I doubt they would get a championship in the 80s or the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, maybe at the end of the 90s, not against those Bulls teams. And then they would have had to come out the West. Look what they would have had to go through in the West, man. Utah, San Antonio, Seattle, Phoenix, Houston, like Portland, Drexel. It's tough, man. So it's like, your skill level. You know what I'm saying? Shooting ability, your shooting ability, your passing ability, your defense, your ability to score. Like how effective are you doing these things, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying your heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, your leadership. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not talking about none of these things. All we're looking at is accolades. And like, sometimes people, they don't think, they say numbers don't lie. Numbers can lie. And I'm going to tell you how they can lie. I've watched some finals, right, where guys have inflated their numbers that didn't even impact the game. So, like, boom, you look at the OKC versus Miami Heat finals, right, with LeBron and this is where Russell Westbrook got a lot of people respect. He was going hard, keeping them in the game, balling out, and in the midst of that, you had Kevin Durant. Not saying he wasn't trying, but Kevin Durant, he was getting a lot of garbage points. The game is over. Like, So it looks like, yeah, he got 29. Or he's averaging 29. But a lot of that shit came when the game was over, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it looks like, yeah, he had 29. He played hard. Really? Did he? I've seen LeBron pad his stats against the Miami Heat in that bubble finals. Game's over. They up like 15, 16 with like 2-3 minutes left in the game. You know, the game pretty much over. And you know, the teams emptied the bench and he's still out there. He had 19, 20. Next thing you know, he got 26, 27. We've seen people, you know, have stats that don't impact the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, you gotta really watch these games, man. And that's what, to me, it boiled down to, man. Your eye test. What your eyes saw. Bye-bye. You know what I'm saying? Like, so before we disrespect these players, watch the games. You know what I'm saying? Like, go back in time. Read about the players, man. Don't listen to these TV people and what everybody's saying. Go watch the games. Go look at the history of the game, man. Understand who these players were. Because what we're doing right now is just a bunch of revisionist history. Everybody is trying to rewrite history, man. And then now you got all these people talking about Kobe that wasn't saying none of this stuff when he was alive, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, when we started talking about skills and all that, that's when, you know, of course your man was losing that argument. Oh, I didn't need skills to score 30,000. He's right, you didn't. That makes you a great player because you were able to maximize your talents the same way Shaq was. Shaq wasn't a guy that was going to take you off the dribbling gear. He maximized the best talent he had, was going on that post and bulldozing his way to the rim, outworking everybody, things like that, and playing, you know, in the post and close to the rim, controlling the paint. That was what made Shaq great. You know, like LeBron, what makes him great is his talent and ability, his athleticism, and he used that and he made that work to the best of his advantage. But when it comes to overall skill, you know, like with him and Kobe, it's not even close. And then Kobe's a way better on-ball defender than him. Like Kobe was damn near a defensive stopper at one time. Steph Curry, you know, I mean, everybody already done cooked this argument. But it's like, you know, fam, like Steph Curry, you can't put him ahead of Kobe, man. They're looking at his impact and his shooting ability. What about defensively? And what about offensive arsenal? Yeah, Steph Curry has a great, hey, Papa, a great offensive arsenal, right? But it ain't more. Like Kobe can go on posts, Kobe can shoot threes, Kobe can shoot from the wing, he can shoot from the top of the key, shoot from anywhere on the court, he can attack the rim better. Like, Curry is a better dribbler and a better shooter by far. But Kobe can do all the things he can do. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn near just as good. And with more, he can do a lot more on the court because, like I said, Kobe is taller, he can go on the block, you know what I'm saying? He can rebound better. He's just a better all-around player than Curry. I don't see how you put Curry ahead of him. He was a better all-around player than Duncan. I don't see how you, Duncan, like I said, from about 98 to about, he had a good 7 or about a good 7 to 8 dominant years. And then after that, he was an average player. He still was great, but he wasn't, you know, dominating the game after the, you know, 2006 and all of that. Like 2007, that was it. All right, Papa. I mean, like that was it after that. He wasn't dominating the game like that. About 2006, 2000. You know what I'm saying? Like that was about it, man. He was more like, you know, he still, like I say, he still was great and impactful. But He wasn't the same. Look at his numbers. It's just everybody want to look at numbers, man. Look at his numbers, man. Just started getting pedestrian, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's why he didn't win Player of the Decade. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, early 2000s, he was dominant. Towards the middle and the end, he became pedestrian. You know what I'm saying? Like Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili became just as important on that team as he was. Like, I don't understand. Like, people gotta watch the games, man. Like, go back and watch the games. Listen to the interviews and the things that they were saying back then. Come to a conclusion now. Like Kobe in that 10-year window period did a lot to enter the top 10 or top 5. You know, all-time great players, man. Scored 81 points in the game. No. You know, he scored 81 points in the game. He led the league in scoring a couple of times. He got 5 championships in that decade. I don't understand what more you want him to do. You know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, the disrespect is crazy, man. Like, he was one of the most skilled players you ever seen. He worked the hardest. He was athletic. He even won a dunk contest. Like, come on, man. They all knew he was the best player. They all knew he was the best player on the Olympics. Like, what are we talking about here, man? He's loved around the world, except for the media. And you gotta have guys like us that have to come out here and constantly keep defending his legacy, or they'll destroy it. They're gonna tear his legacy down. And that's sad, man. Man ain't even here to defend himself, man. You know, I'm glad I see a lot of former players and other people coming out and defending it. Like, yo, nah, man, Kobe was one of the best we've ever seen. And it should be said, man. You know? But anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go, man, so I can get back to the little homie, man. You know, but the disrespect is crazy. It's gotta stop, man. You know what I'm saying? All of this just to try to, you know, minimize him, to elevate, you know, one other guy. Hey, Papa, you having fun? You know, just to elevate one guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. That's what this is really all about. They want to elevate this guy to keep this argument going because it's driving the conversation and keeping the NBA relevant. That's the biggest conversation in the NBA. You know? So, of course, they want to keep that conversation. You know, nobody's even talking about the champions. You know, like shit. Speaking of that, these dudes, man, I've seen a picture of the way these guys drill. I don't understand what's going on with this feminist shit, dude. Why these niggas is allowing themselves to walk around being filmed like this, man. And women like clothing, dude. That shit has got to stop, man. These men, man up, man. NBA used to be about business suits and being professional men, like dressed like a man, man. Like, he's running around with handbags and pocketbooks and shit. Like, come on, painting their nails. What is this, man? Like, come on, man. Like, I don't get it, man. Anyway, man. You know, this is crazy, man. But you know, we should be talking about those brothers and their accomplishments and, you know, who's the favorites next year. Instead of talking about the Lakers all the time. We're talking about LeBron all day. Keep bringing up this LeBron versus Jordan shit. It's an argument that shouldn't even be. And he's skipping out. Like, when did LeBron pass Magic and Bird? Do we forget what Magic and Bird did for the league? Not only did they bring the league back, like I said a few videos, they were the ranks. They're never going to see two players come in the league and become the ranks, one in the East, one in the West. This is the problem that the WNBA is having with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. They're not the ranks. So there's really no rivalry. Like, there's nothing that's that's anticipating a rivalry is going to happen with them, because the Angel Reese team is trash. They're not. They have a losing record, and they lost last year. They had a losing record, and the Caitlin Clark team is like, they're decent, but you know, are they really a championship team? Like when Magic and Bird came in the league, you know, they automatic championship Magic. They were in the championship in college together. The same thing Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese did, but they carried it over straight to the NBA. And that kept the fire going. We didn't have to wait 3 years for them to get good. And if they would have had to wait them 3 years, the NBA probably would have died. But because they came in and they lived up to the promise, Bird turned his team around, and Magic got his team into the finals. They won the championship, the finals MVP. The next year, Bird wins. The next year, Magic wins. Next year, Sixers win. Then Boston wins. Then the Lakers win. Like, come on, that's why that shit is big. And they're trying to push the Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark like that. But this is why the rings matter for people that don't like ring culture. If you're not winning, you're not going to be relevant. Mike had to go through that. Even though they knew Mike was the best in the league, he didn't have the jewelry to really solidify himself. But I think when he won, it was riveting, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, when these guys win those championships, it's riveting. We think, that's why I said in the beginning, when Kobe won those two without Shaq, that elevated him to a different level. Did it on his own, man. Without Shaq. I'm not saying he won by himself, but he was the leader of that. So, you know, I didn't articulate everything I wanted to say, how I wanted to say it, because I had a little homie with me. But I'm going to do another video, man, as soon as I get time, man. And I'm really going to dig into how I really, you know, rank players in my book. You know, for me, you know what I'm saying? Like, anyway, I'm out. If you agree with it, then it is what it is. If not, it is what it is as well. Many Fix Publishing. I'm out, man. Peace.